Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Market conditions still bearish in a bull market. We're just working through this counter trend, this retracement right here. The indications here are that we're getting pretty close to a short-term or intermediate-term bottom. Let's talk about that a little bit today. When we're dealing with momentum trends, we're dealing with a direction, and that direction, whether it's up or down, is going to have areas where it goes too far too fast, whether that's to the upside or to the downside. We're focused here on this particular price pattern where we're looking at S&P 500. We've been moving this direction all year long, and then we've been since August we've been retracing this move back down again. The question is now, is this still the trend direction, this bull market, and we're finding support here and we're going to head this direction, or is this beginning a new downtrend, a larger downtrend? Either way, this sharp move, you can see we get a bounce back up, and then we continue the trend direction. This sharp move now has been continuing to move to the downside. Now the question is this deep enough? Is this pause deep enough to correct this entire move and start to move higher? So let's look at a couple of things here. In the shorter term, we're dealing with what's called divergence. Divergence is when you have price activity doing one thing, and then you have an indicator doing something else. So in this case, we have momentum. Momentum is the fastest moving indicator on this chart, and that is getting divergence here, meaning this low and this low are matching this low and this low, but this one's moving this direction, this one's moving that direction. That is referred to as divergence. And we're getting that on momentum, and we are getting that in addition to the momentum indicator. We're getting that on the breadth indicator as well. And breadth is also pretty deeply oversold. Sentiment is also still, in fact, we had a little move higher yesterday on sentiment. So we are seeing some signs of some support right here. The other big one is the buy-sell ratio. This one is, we talked about this yesterday, it was at 0.09, kind of ticked back up to 0.13. And so it's definitely in an area where we could start to see some bottoming activity starting to develop. Historically, this is just too wide. There's not enough momentum left to be able to push things down lower based on this indicator. When it gets this wide, it just doesn't stay there. It certainly can move like it has up and down in this direction, and the bias for the last 6-8 months, really since August, 3 months, has been down because the red line is above the green line, and that's a bearish bias. So what we want to see right here is we want to see these start to work back together again, and ultimately when they cross over, that gives us a buy-sell ratio that's above 1. And you can see over here there's that 1 level all the way across. So in this entire line, when it's less than 1, we essentially are looking for bearish trades, or we're out of the market. When it's above 1, we want to be looking for bullish trades and opportunities to be getting in. This area, this extreme, this 0.09, it can dip all the way down to 0.06, 0.07. In really bad scenarios, I covered it yesterday with the COVID move. We had it at 0.02 and 0.01. There were like only 45 stocks that were in uptrends. Right now we've got 340 yesterday with 3,000 in downtrends. So we're definitely skewed to the bearish side right now. We can also see that on the sectors page when we have buy-sell ratios for each of the sectors. 0.06 in construction. It's just 0.07 in industrial products. These are just really low numbers right here, and are typically not sustainable at this level. We're also seeing that across some indices here. We've been looking at the Dow Jones Industrials, 2 uptrends, 16 in downtrends. Buy-sell ratio there is 0.09. 0.08 on mid cap. They're just low numbers right here. So watching for an opportunity for a bounce right here on really across the markets as a whole. Let's look at S&P 500, and this range here, we're entering into that. I'm gonna just pull this out just a little bit. This downtrend, and then we have this uptrend connecting this low. This 382 level is coming into play, and we have, this is still a counter trend or a corrective zone, even all the way down to 50%, 618. we could bounce up, we could pull all the way back down here, and then continue the move higher, and still have this be considered the uptrend and retracing all the way back down to a 50% area. That is certainly a possibility right here. In the short term, though, this is a deeply oversold market, and I think we'll start to see some indications of some bouncing right here, and potentially could be a new uptrend. We'll have to see that as it's developing, but that's a possibility at these levels. Take a look at the new buy list. We had quite a few, filling that new buy list. If you remember yesterday and the day before, we had, next to nothing. We had 15 or 20 in there. Now we've got a bunch. This is what we want to see on market turns. We want to see this new buy list starting to get filled up again. And what's interesting here is you're seeing a lot of the theme across this. Sometimes when you glance through that new buy list, you can see some themes here. Okay, and here is a couple of the themes that are, at least in those top two, are starting to pop up. We're seeing Bitcoin miners. Okay, we haven't seen Bitcoin miners starting to move in a long, long time. Part of that is because Bitcoin has had a big run up here. So if we look at this top stock, let's go to the 6-month time frame. That actually is not a bad looking time frame either. At 2 year, you can see, this stock had run all the way up during the Bitcoin run up, and then essentially collapsed, and then it started this next move, retraced again, and has now got that nice little move today. The current trend here is you can see how fast it can move from $2 to $4 or $5, and having an initial move here really could, if Bitcoin continues to move higher, so that's a 17% move yesterday. This could really have a run here. So keep an eye on CIFR. It's not in that upper momentum zone, but it certainly is a counter trend or corrective type pattern, especially on the daily chart. It's hitting that 618 zone, and now it's broken back up above the 50. So we've got a lot of support now to hold up this area, and watch to see if we get any momentum there. Riot Blockchain, that was a little bit deeper in the list down here, but that's a similar name. This is one that really had a big move during that last Bitcoin craze. It was huge. It went up, thousands of percent. And is that going to happen here on some of these moves? It's certainly a possibility, at least to get a really big volatile move. So 10% back up on some of these miners. Those are really two good ones as well to be focusing on Bitcoin. Some of the other stocks, let's take a look through this and see on this 6-month time frame. Go to the new buy list, and SYM, actually, let me refresh that. I am going to come back to that chart, though. It is there, SYM. So this is actually a really nice AI play, because these guys are in automated robotics, and I just did a report on this as well. But they really have and I'll put a link. I'll put a link to the page in the description of this video, because it's really a great AI stock, an automation robotic stock to be able to focus on, and it's getting another pop here as well. It's gone from a hold to a buy, and certainly one to consider here at these levels. Let's see what we've got here coming up on the next couple. LFMD, medical stock, EDU had a nice move here as well. So we're seeing the indications that we want to see. We're seeing a new, a bunch of stocks filling the new buy. We're seeing buy sell ratio extended and extreme. We're seeing S&P 500 at a major support level. Lots of indications of a possible reversal at these levels. That'll do it for today's update. If you don't have access to the site and software, you can sign up with the link below, and we look forward to having you. Have a fantastic day today.